It's finally happened. Here, for the first time, is an OVA based off of a Vocaloid song. Who knew this was going to happen? Black Rock Shooter isn't just any ordinary song, though, but has actually grown quite a bit of a fan base, and even has its own mythology and a developed storyline. Coming into this with a fresh mind, not knowing anything about the mythos of the Black Rock Shooter outside the trailers for this anime, I'll say that all of the advertisements have been grossly misleading. Black Rock Shooter, rather than being an action-packed thrill ride, is much more of a slice-of-life anime with fantasy elements thrown in on the side. Unfortunately, it isn't the lack of thrills that really weighs this story down, but rather a lack of any true development. Running at only 50 minutes, one can expect an epic tale of intrigue, but one can reasonably expect fleshed-out characters and a cohesive storyline. This is, first and foremost, a tale of friendship between the two main leads. Things start off promising enough, Meito proving to be an energetic and likable enough leading lady, and Yomi being very put together and mature for her age. The Black Rock Shooter herself exists within an alternative world that is never entirely clarified, but in some ways parallels the girls in their own lives. This leads into the major flaw of Black Rock Shooter, which is, well, the other world and the slice of life world don't gel well in a convincing manner. Even with an understanding of the symbolism and meanings behind the alternative fantasy world, the ways in which they are interjected into the story are still forced and contrived. It would be like this. Imagine a very subtle slice of life series, and then imagine abruptly cutting away from that series and having to watch an episode of an artsy shonen series with characters who very vaguely resemble those found in the slice of life show you were just watching. That's about the equivalence of the connection between the two worlds up until the OVA's finale, which for anyone familiar with this sort of storyline can be easily predicted about 10 to 20 minutes into the short. Credit does have to be given where credit is due, however. The backdrops and details within the animation are quite attractive, and the dark fantasy world from which the Black Rock Shooter roams feels like a gothic art book come to life. The soundtrack is equally suiting, switching from softer orchestral pieces within the real world and groaning electric guitar ballads during action sequences in the other world. However, no matter how pretty the animation is, or no matter how inspired the musical choices may be, it doesn't mean a thing if your show is poorly paced. It is a shame that Black Rock Shooter seems to stumble about for most of its running time, not quite sure what to do with itself. So, it will distract you with a breathtaking shot of a town at night, or of the Black Rock Shooter performing feats that look as if they came straight out of Advent Children, but none of this really adds anything to the story. I always award films and animation when they allow themselves time to breathe, but only if the breath is justified. If you take a break from development for an extended period of time, only to give your viewer pleasant imagery and apology, your script needs a few more rewrites. Black Rock Shooter could have most certainly done with at least a few. While it does have its moments of inspiration, and I would be lying if I said that this is a complete waste of time, in truth there's nothing about the story or characters that truly makes this recommendable. It's a very simplistic plot that wants to be a lot deeper than it actually is, forcing in contrivances just for the sake of fan speculation and theorizing. The fantasy world is never properly explained, but is rather left to viewer interpretation. This would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that the characters and themes aren't sturdy nor detailed enough to be rewarded with ambiguity, which is why I give Black Rock Shooter a 2 out of 5. It does try, and most certainly it has some very convincing and interesting elements to it. I just feel that there isn't enough here to properly give a recommendation.